Hello Year 10s. So today you need to do your own interpretation of a Saul Bass artwork. So as like you would have noticed from from your research, he was obviously a very big influence on graphic design by really simplifying objects and images and people into kind of block forms and colour. So your task today is to create your own Saul Bass artwork, and what I'm going to do today is just kind of show you how to do that in the best possible way. So I'm going to go with a horror film genre, and what I'm going to do is actually recreate like an iconic image from The Exorcist. And I'm going to create the image in a kind of Saul Bass style. So the image I'm taking it from is of like a scene from The Exorcist. And so what I'm going to do, using a pencil, lightly draw out whatever you're going to do, because there's no point in going straight in with pen if you're not, it's best to draw it out lightly first. Now you could use pen, you could use paint, you could cut up paper. It totally depends on the resources that you have at home. But I'm just going to do a demonstration of pen. So what I'm going to do is, I want my drawing to be within this box here. I'm just going to lightly draw out the face that I'm doing. So obviously some of you guys will want to aim for kind of the grade 5 and above. So if you want to do that, maybe choose a more complicated image, but you have to also remember that Saul Bass artworks are really quite simple. So there are various ways in which you can, quite cleverly, I don't even know if that's a word, make it more sophisticated and mature. So I'm just basically blocking out where I want my areas to be. So I'm just doing the basic shapes here. So this is all about shapes. So that bit is cut off there. Some of you might be familiar with the film. If not, don't worry. Hopefully you'll still be able to get something from this. And then the eyes are quite big there. The image I will try and put on so you can actually see what I've drawn it from. So I'm just drawing out the basic area. So I'm sketching. So make sure that you're looking at whatever you're drawing and sketching at the same time. So I'm doing this really, really lightly. I'm just plotting out the proportions first, because there's no point in going straight in there first with your pen, because if you make a mistake, it's much harder to rectify. And then he's got these eyes here, and an eye there, kind of nostrils and a nose there, this kind of bit here. So I have my basic shape. So obviously you could do this on red paper, yellow paper. Really think about the colours that the artist uses. So some of his, he really focuses on primary colours. There's lots of reds, blues and yellows. Don't mix lots of colours, because that is not the artist's style. So what I'm going to do now is just go over this by just kind of blocking in. So he has quite raggedy shapes, like they're not super neat, but at the same time they're kind of in proportion somewhat. So I'm just going to draw that in there, draw that there. It's got this kind of chin there. Do that like that, like that, like that, like that. So you can see that I'm, carefully putting it back in, so you can see that the pre-drawing is really important, because that's done all the hard work already, really. So I'm just going to go and make a bit more detail, and then we go in with the nose, and then we want to do the nostrils here, here. Now if you want to do The Exorcist, I'm going to suggest maybe don't do this image, because if some of you do the same one, it's going to look like you haven't got your own ideas. So I'm just choosing something for me to do. So, So I probably made a bit of a mistake there because his eyes are really, there we go, that's probably better. So I'm going around, so I'm still looking at the image that I'm drawing from. I haven't completely ignored that because that's really important. You've got to look and draw at the same time. So the artist style is obviously very simple, and hopefully it's much easier to kind of copy in a way. And I'm just going to kind of highlight the eyes with a bit of a highlight there, and then I've got this kind of really gruesome, terrifying mouth like that. It's got these scary teeth, which I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to give the impression that there's teeth there. Okay, so there we go. I've gone in with the basic shape, and then just like you kind of did with the Cecil Touchon, when you shaded in with pen, it's much, much easier to do lines. It's much neater like this, and hopefully you'll start seeing that it's turning a bit more Saul Bass. And you can obviously see as well, I've done this very, very quickly. So hopefully it won't take you too long. So I'm going in with all the dark areas, hopefully it's starting to make a bit more sense now. Now I'm shading in the black. There we go. Really, really simple. So it completely depends on the image that you're choosing. Don't overcomplicate it. Make it really simple. Sometimes less is more, okay? And then here I would do the same. This might take a little bit longer, which I won't demonstrate entirely. I'll do a bit of a time lapse for that probably. So you just keep going all the way around, and then you'd want to fill that space. When you get back to school, you could photocopy this onto yellow and red paper, so you've got different versions of it. So like his Shining posters, where they are red and yellow with the black. There we go, it's starting to take place. So I hope you can see that really simple line drawing, the sketch, just kind of places everything first. So I'm going to give you a few lessons to do this because I want some really, really good interpretations. You guys have got really good drawing skills, and I think you need to push it really and spend a lot of time. You have all chosen personal film genres that you like, so this is entirely up to you because you should be interested in it. If you need any help with what kind of images to choose, then please do get in touch. But this is basically what I want you to do, but your chosen genre. So I could tidy that up, and there we go. We've got the the face from The Exorcist. You could push this even further by adding text. So if I just kind of move that up here. So add a title if you want to. Again, draw it lightly first. So Saul Bass uses these, very blocky, quite playful fonts. So I'm just gonna create. I'll send it to you like a Saul Bass inspired text, and I'd like you to have a go at doing that as well. So I'm just lightly drawing it based on the font that I've got for you, and again it's this kind of blocky, lots of kind of lines, these kind of straight lines. There we go. So that's almost like a film poster in itself. You've created your own film poster. So again, here I would just go over that with a black pen. But what you might find easier is to just kind of plan it out first, because obviously I've kind of gone with the composition of a film poster. So you might want to map these letters out, very lightly first. So like kind of draw basic lines, maybe even measure it out with a ruler to make sure that each letter is of even size. This is about refining and making sure that you're really paying attention to the artist's work, but also the aesthetics of a film poster. It can't look messy. It's got to look really sophisticated, because now you're GCSE, you're going into year 11 very, very soon, and this is the kind of stuff that we're going to be marking you on. It's that kind of refined detail, really focusing on the artist's style. So I'm just going to draw that in like this. I am rushing it ever so slightly, so I'd like you to take your time. So there we go. And you might want to, you'll notice with the fonts that there's a slight change in the thickness of the lines as well, so you might want to go over some of those as well and just really push that. Make sure it look like, imagine you are Saul Bass for this task. How would Saul Bass design a poster for your chosen film genre? So I've chosen The Exorcist, but I could choose any film that I wanted. So again, you could do this as a paper cutout, pen. Pencil is not really dark enough, but if you have any problems with your kind of materials, do let me know and I will suggest something for you. I'm just going to tidy this up here. You can see I'm just doing lines. It is much, much, much easier. And what would be great with this, because obviously it's handmade, which Saul Bass would have done, and then we can just scan it in, kind of really bump up the contrast so you don't see any of those lines, and then it would be a really, really effective digital print. And that is that's as simple as that. So don't overcomplicate it. Choose an image. It could be from your visual brainstorm that you did for the first kind of, exploring film posters. It could be something new after seeing this example. Maybe you want to choose a film still from it, or that's entirely up to you. I'd like you to stay in communication with me so you can tell me what's going on, and obviously if you need any help, please do let me know. So I'm just going to tidy up that edge there. So, not really straight lines, not even using a ruler, but you might want to use a ruler as a guide. I'm just going to finish that. I might as well finish it off. And there we have my interpretation. I'm just going to tidy up this bit here. Like so. Finish that off. Make that eye a bit. So there's, we can go on forever and ever. If you found that really easy, which I'm pretty sure most of you will, let's do a few more. Think of another image that you could use. I might just tidy this up with a kind of outside. I might want to use a ruler for something like that. It'd be nice to have a bit of a border around it. So there you go. That is your Saul Bass interpretation.